So, when did Juhudi sign up for DBSync? Do you have an idea how long have you been around with us?
That happened in 2018.
Okay.
I can't be exact on the dates or the month, but it's sometime last year.
Perfect. And,
Yes.
you know, do you remember back in that time, what were the problems you were facing? What was the challenge that makes you start looking for a solution like ours?
Yes. The main issue here was the system that we are using, which is cloud-based, didn't have an option for pulling the data and storing locally.
Okay.
So the only option we had was basically to export data in Excel files, in CSV files, and then now be able to make sense out of that. So we felt it's more important if we pull the data into an SQL database, rather than just have quite a number of Excel files that we are not able to make sense.
Exactly.
So that was the main challenge.
And that's super time consuming, right? It's like the most tedious work ever in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. And when you sort of terminate contracts with some of these cloud-based systems, is you're told to take your data. So if you are to take your data, you take to Excel.
Exactly. Correct.
Yeah, so the solution sounded exactly what we were looking for.
So now that you had this issue, right? So you start looking around. Where did you first heard of us? When was the first time that you see, DBSync? Like, you were looking somewhere in particular, you were asking for references. How did that happen?
Well, okay, I did ask quite a number of guys. That was the first thing. Most of them are vendors, guys who do systems. And now the second thing I did is actually to Google.
Oh, really?
Sort of research in terms of the solutions guys are looking for. And I landed on DBSync.
Correct. So you did what everybody does. You Googled us.
I Googled. That was the thing.
Perfect. So can you share some experiences of making business with us? Like, how was the relationship? How did you felt? Because we really want to know what makes you decide to, after all, do business with us.
Well, the first thing was actually the speed. I think after I discovered the solution, I don't remember if it lasted 2 weeks before we actually had a deal with DBSync. Because number one, the solution is ready for download. And then in terms of engaging Kumar, that happened within the first week. And I think in the following week, we were doing the paperwork.
Oh,
so
perfect.
The key thing here was speed. And equally, we had a different guy, I think, shared by Kumar, that was able to take us through the tech part of the solution. Yeah. So we had a smooth ride. Yeah.
Perfect. So we were fast to deliver. That's something you like.
Yeah, fast. And then, of course, I also need to mention that the price that was quoted initially, we were able to bargain. So again, it wasn't a fixed cost.
Okay.
So again, that
so
also
you like
gave
to feel like you have a bargain.
Yes, it was a good thing for us because again, we didn't have a budget for this. And the fact that Kumar was able to flex a little bit and come down was a good thing.
Fantastic. That's actually great. So,
yes.
In that sense, because you're telling me a lot of things, right? Like a lot of things that you like the speed, the bargain part. But what you would say is the most valuable thing that we brought to the table? Like the one thing that you say, this is the extra value that you guys provide?
Well, it's related to the system I mentioned, and we were able to terminate a contract that was heavy in cost because now we had a store for data, which is our local database.
Brilliant.
That was the best thing that happened to Juhudi.
Perfect. So what other results did you get with us? Like, how would you describe the transformation, the before and the after meeting DBSync? How did the business improve in that sense?
Well, the fact that we are able to do continuous data copy from uh, the current solution that we have, again, we really don't need to worry about what happens tomorrow and all that. Remember, we were using two systems. So number one, we were able to terminate the other contract. And then number two, the system that we are using is equally cloud-based. And we are able to continue replicating the data into our local database.
Okay, perfect. So straightforward, we solve your problem. That's the most important thing at the end.
Exactly. After we got DBSync, we stopped shopping. I stopped Googling for other solutions because it was just it.
Yay! That makes us really happy. That's
But
really
don't.
fantastic. That's actually great. So, if you would have to put this value in the sense of, money wise, do you have an ROI number, just a ballpark number in your head of how much you could save using DBSync?
Okay, well, if I'm to look at this year alone, then we'll talk of let me just do a quick calculation on that.
Go ahead.
We'll talk of saving about $800. Okay. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Hello.
Oh, it seems there was a small connection failure.
We will talk about saving
Wait a second.
800.
Wait a second. It seems like there is a small
Okay.
connectivity issue. So,
I think it was on my side.
okay, perfect. So let's repeat the question. So, quick question. If you have, a number in your head, a ballpark number for ROI, what you would say that number will be?
$8,800. And that's for this year. So the fact that we have terminated means that we've saved that for this year. If we didn't get the solution, it's a cost that will be incurring maybe for the next 3 years or so. So you multiply the 1,800 by 3 or 4 years.
Wow, great. So considering this, what do you like the most about DBSync, and what would you say to somebody that was about to acquire us?
Well, I'll say DBSync is user-friendly. You don't really need to be a super techie person to be able to start using DBSync.
Mm-hmm.
The setup process is quite straight. I mean, you only need to know the settings of your current system, your database. And for someone who's looking to do DBSync, I'll actually tell them they need to be as soon as they can. There is a lot of savings to be done, not only on the current year, but the recurrent cost. They'll be able to cut that down completely. Yeah.
Perfect.
Plus the support. I mean, the DBSync team support is super.
Ah, really? Do you like the support team? They're going to be happy when I tell them. So, final question, because, not everything is perfect and we understand that and we want to improve it. What do you believe we could improve here in DBSync? Something that you say, hey guys, this is your weak point.
Okay, two things. Number one, on the profile setup, it's a bit confusing because every time you log in, tells you to create your profile. Because ideally, I mean, you should create your profile once. So you should just be able to choose the profile you want to use. And then number two is not really a negative thing, but an improvement of the solution. If you could be able to do something like SQL to SQL replication, that will be perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell the team and we're going to start working on that. And that's
Okay.
it. Super quickly, right?